Welcoming in William Ralston, the CEO and chairman of SinglePoint. Will, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great today. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Will. It's a pleasure to have you here. Let's start off really high level, just get a little bit of context about what you guys do. What can you tell us about the company? What is SinglePoint all the way involved in?
Yeah, so we're started out, we're mainly based in making acquisitions of solar and renewable energy companies. So right now, our core focus is in finding full service, high quality regional electric EPCs, companies that are installing residential solar, commercial solar, and really set out to build the nation's first full installation business that can cover you from A to Z. Along what we've done with that is we've actually acquired another company in the air purification space because indoor air quality has become really popular over the last year as COVID and other things have hit. But it's really a long-term play because it's brought so many things to light in terms of how important our indoor air quality is to our health on a day-to-day basis. So at the end of the day, what we're looking to do is continue to find great companies that only add to our ever increasing energy needs. And we're offsetting that generation by going solar, EV, energy storage, and then also helping improve people's lifestyles through being able to have access to healthy indoor air quality.
Awesome. And can you talk about how you guys got into this a little bit more, kind of the backstory of this, and also why it's so important too, as you just mentioned, to have that quality air?
Yeah, absolutely. So I joined SinglePoint, quite a few years ago, and we really built the public company backwards. We built the public side of the company first. We had a huge, large amount of shareholders, 25 to 35,000 shareholders. And we said, okay, we've built this public entity. Now we need to put the businesses there. So we set off on this acquisition strategy. And in 2018, as I came back and rejoined the company to be the president, I said, hey, look, let's do something that matters. Let's do something that is important to us. And that first thing was going into solar. So we acquired a company called Direct Solar. And we learned so much through that acquisition about the industry, about what's needed there, identified a lot of areas that we could help assist in. And that's what drove this acquisition strategy, is really going after the EPCs and finding those high quality regional players, number one or number two in their market, consistent revenue growth, entrepreneurial led, so that they can continue to grow, because there's a point where these private businesses in this space specifically are unable to access working capital, and us going through an acquisition and being able to help drive that really can take them to the next level of growth. So that's how we got down this path, and we're continuing to move down there. We've announced a couple new acquisitions in the pipeline, such as Boston Solar, that we're looking to close here soon, and we've got more coming up.
That's great. Okay, air quality is obviously a very big topic right now. How's it going with BoxPure Air? Can you give us any updates there?
Yeah, BoxPure Air has been phenomenal. It's interesting because we've really gone after the schools, because there's been 3 rounds of ESSER funding, as well as EANS funding that has been driven by the federal government. It's about $180 billion, of which $121 billion is specifically dedicated towards preschool through K through 12 schools throughout the nation. We've done really well over the first quarter here of 2022, as well as into the second quarter, because this is the first time that this has been available for people to use. So that sales cycle has been a little bit longer, but ultimately we've cracked that code, and we've sold in North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, California, Florida, and it's really starting to unlock. So we're excited about where that company could be by the end of the year here. We believe we're probably going to be generating somewhere between $15 and $20 million just on the BoxPure Air side of the business. And that's a brand new product that's here to stay. COVID didn't just change for that, but it really opened up people's minds and eyes to how important air quality is. It's having a huge effect on cognitive abilities. So we talk about bringing people back to work and how much that can help there, as well as really just how much time we spend inside. In North America, we spend about 90% of our time indoors. So it's super important that we know the air that we're breathing is healthy and safe for us to continue to work and live where we're at.
That's great. Okay, looking ahead to the future also, as you mentioned, what does SinglePoint look like for 2022 and beyond? Can you give us a sketch of the future here?
Yeah, so 2022, we would love to see 3 more acquisitions happen at a minimum, 1 a quarter there, so that we're able to continue to ramp this business quickly. We're aiming to gear up and get to the NASDAQ, and then an important part of that is going to be finding high quality businesses to wrap into the company. So, if I had it my way and we can hit all the goals that I've set here for my team internally, we'd have another 4 acquisitions targeting somewhere between $60-70 million in revenue, hopefully on the low side. As the businesses we're looking at now are generating anywhere from 15 to 25 million plus, with 2022 projections looking even better. So if we can close on some of these deals, we're going to see some hyper growth here this year for SinglePoint.
That's great. Okay, and what's the plan with currently owned subsidiaries that don't align with the current business goals? How is your plan kind of shaping up to move forward there?
Yeah, so that's a great question because a lot of people are wondering, what may happen with those and how can those become valuable. So we want to create additional shareholder value through being able to distribute out those businesses. Earlier in 2021, we spun out one of our entities that was called 1606. And that company continues to progress and getting its ticker symbol and being able to become traded. So we're going to do the same thing with Diggs. We're going to do the same thing with Shield Saver, and we're going to unlock additional value for our shareholders through that shareholder distribution. Now, what we've learned through 1606 is that we can continue to push those things forward a little bit faster through some other opportunities. Through that learning phase of those distributions. So we look forward to unlocking that value for the shareholders through those additional dividend distributions of those companies.
Great. And depending on when you close on Boston Solar, do you feel comfortable with a revenue goal of $47 million? What is your gut check on getting to that number?
Yeah, I think it's a great number. I think it's going to be on the low side. We've got additional acquisitions that are teed up right behind Boston Solar. And again, that would, just one or two of those would put us well above that number. So that's what I'm excited about here at SinglePoint is we're out here, we're making a difference within the business, really positioned for growth, really positioned to get to the NASDAQ this year. 2, 3, 4 more acquisitions in a best case scenario for us this year will help us achieve that number and surpass it by a mile.
Terrific. Awesome. And then last question for you. Where are you at in terms of uplisting to the NASDAQ? Can you give us any updates on that front?
Yeah, so we've been working on all the paperwork. We've brought on advisors to help us get there, that know the path, that know how to get there. We've got our audits done. We've got our S1 pre-filled. So there's a lot of the steps taken that are already done. The next goal is finishing off Boston Solar so we can go ahead and consolidate those financials into the S1 so that we can go ahead and file that. So it really shouldn't be too long to get out there. I would say that, if we can get there and filed, mid-May would be a great target for the company.
Terrific. Will Ralston, CEO and Chairman of SinglePoint, thank you so much for joining us. Exciting future ahead. Can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for having us on and look forward to continue to keep the shareholders updated out there.